Blue Monk by Thelonious Monk is possibly one of the most famous jazz blues tunes of all time. For many guitarists, including myself, it's the first Monk tune that you'll probably learn. And even though it's considered a bit of a beginner tune, I think there's plenty you can learn from it at whatever stage you are in your playing. So in this video, I'll go through a bit about the tune itself and some of my favourite recordings, what we can learn from how Monk uses triads, tension resolution, and chromaticism to construct that iconic melody, and how Monk uses dyads to harmonise that melody and accompany himself. I'd also love to hear what others have learnt from studying Blue Monk, so make sure to pop a comment below. This is the first video in a two-part series on this tune. In the second video, I'll break down a transcription that I've done of one chorus of Monk's solo on Alone in San Francisco, and walk you through some strategies of how to get some of those concepts into your playing. So make sure you hit the like, subscribe, and the little bell button so you don't miss out. So firstly, a bit about the tune. It's a 12-bar blues, and like all the blues compositions of Thelonious Monk, it's in the key of B flat. Monk composed this tune in September of 1954 after Prestige Records boss Bob Weinstock complained that Monk never played the blues. Monk certainly proved Bob wrong on that one, didn't he? Monk actually borrowed part of the melody from Charlie Saver's Pastel Blue, which was first recorded by John Kirby and his Onyx Club Boys sometime in 1938 or 1939. But as the saying goes, good artists copy, great artists steal. And what Monk stole, he certainly turned into his own. So much so that later in life, Monk actually said that this was one of his favourite compositions. So the first recording of this tune is from 22nd September 1954 in Rudy Van Gelder's studio with Art Blakey on drums, Percy Heath on bass, in what would become the album Thelonious Monk Trio. Absolutely killing record. I highly suggest you checking it out if you haven't listened to it. My favourite recording of this tune is actually the 1951 recording, Thelonious Monk Alone in San Francisco. That's the version that I've based my transcription, arrangement, and lesson on. So what can we learn from this tune? The first thing we can learn is how Monk uses triads, chromaticism, and tension resolution to construct his melody. So if we simplify the melody and take away the chromaticism, measure 1 is just the 3rd to the 5th of a B flat major triad, connected by chromaticism. Measure 2 is the same, it's just the 3rd to the 5th of an E flat major triad, connected by chromaticism. Next measure, he just adds a 6 to this B flat major triad to add tension, and moves from the 5th to the 3rd. Moving on to the next part of the melody. Again, it's just the 3rd up to the 5th of the E flat major triad, then the 5th up to the flat 7 to create tension, The next part of the melody is just the root of an F major triad. Displaced an octave. So take home lesson number 1 is that one of the most famous jazz blues heads of all time is just simple triads connected by chromaticism with some basic tension resolution added in. The second thing we can learn is how Monk uses dyads to harmonize that melody and accompany himself. So let's look at this thinking like a piano player for a second. So in Monk's right hand, he's harmonizing the melody in thirds. Then in his left hand, he's playing a B flat major power chord. In my opinion, this power chord doesn't work that well on the guitar next to these dyads. Sounds killing on the piano. On the guitar, it sounds a bit too vanilla for my tastes. But what you can do to recreate the feel of Monk's left hand is play the 5th and the flat 7 underneath. You can also play the root and the flat 7 underneath. Repeat that in the next measure. And check out my lesson on Monk shell chords if you want to explore these dyads a little further. Next measure. Listen to any Monk recording and he's playing an E natural here, not an F as it's notated in the real book and taught in many lessons. Plays this B flat root note to create this B flat dominant 9 sound. Repeats the same as measure 2. Then on this Alone in San Francisco recording, plays this killin' bass melody. Then you can use hybrid picking to get that B flat and the bass underneath. Couple of stabs of that 5th from the B flat major triad. So he's just hammering on from the flat 5 up to the 6th of a F major triad here. Then he plays this inverted power chord, followed by a descending chromatic line, and the root of that F major triad. And I actually really like this inverted power chord. You can move it around as well. Something that appears in a lot of Monk's recordings. Then he has this triplet thing where he's actually playing the F natural as part of the triplet. Then he ends with a B flat major power chord, which I actually think works here, followed by a 5-1 cadence, the root and the 5th. There's a few different things happening in the second chorus of the tune. Firstly, Monk is now harmonizing the melody in sixths. Sixths. That's a word I'm never going to be able to pronounce. Sixths. And he plays this. It's like a Monk shell chord. I'm playing the B flat dominant with that 5th on top. That's the second thing that's different, is this big, chunky B flat dominant 9 chord. That's the third thing that I think's different about this second chorus, is this cool chord, which I don't know what to call it. If you've got any ideas, drop a comment below. I'd love to hear your opinion on what to call it. Then the rest is basically the same as the first chorus. So I think the second take-home lesson from this is that Monk uses dyads to place them either underneath the melody, by just harmonizing it, and accompany himself to create some very interesting harmonies. As I said, this is the first part in a 2-part series on Blue Monk. In the next video, I'm going to break down a transcription that I've done of the first chorus of Monk's solo on Alone in San Francisco, and walk you through and assimilate some of the concepts I've found in that transcription into your playing. So make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the little bell button so you don't miss out. If you'd like any PDFs from this lesson, they're available in the link below. And if you'd like to study with me, I'd love to work with you. You can find out how to do that also through the link in the description below. And as I mentioned earlier, I'd love to hear what others have learnt from studying Blue Monk, so make sure to pop a comment below.